Hello, guys. How have you been? How has your week been? How has your day been? Tell me. I believe it has been okay. Some of us can say it was so slow, some of us it was fast. Wherever state as you are, it is the time to stop, reflect, review, re energize before we can move on. And that is why we are here. This is the right channel for you guys. So this week I have learned an interesting nugget to keep mental balance in balance for real. Let the fox go. You could be thinking like, fox, mental health, sanity for the day. How do they relate? Don't worry, just keep to the end of this video and you will learn. That is why we are here, learning as we go by. Now, guys, we have beautiful lives that has been given to us as a gift, and we are supposed to make the most out of this life. By the way, this life is so full of many things. Sometimes you have many plans. You needed to do this, you have to do this, you didn't finish doing this, many things. And all these they're fighting for your attention and your allegiance. And if you're not careful, they can make you go crazy, literally. Yes, you can lose it, by the way, by thinking and wanting to do them, and sometimes getting disappointed and doubtful and such things like. So that is why this week we want to think about it. All right? Now, sanity is not an option in such a scenario whereby you have to be productive. Wherever happens, wherever comes, you need to be productive. But can you be if you're not okay up here? No, you can't. All right? Sanity is not an option. We'll have to be aware, we have to be intentional. We always have to be thinking what we are thinking about. And I've realized by thinking and worrying and caring can become foxes. And those are the foxes we want to identify and chase them out of our lives today, this week, today, this hour. Yeah, so before I can share it, I want to share with you a story. I learned a story. And guys, I get my lessons from interesting and powerful stories. And I read about this story from history of the Bible, and I was so amazed by the lesson that stood up, which I'm going to share with you today. Now, we are told of children of Israel. These people were interesting people. You guys, we can talk more about these people, but let's narrow in. Let's narrow in to our lesson today. We are told that they were traveling through the wilderness, and in their journeys, it was so amazing in this way. We are told that God, the one who created the world, could talk to them from audibly. And we also learn that they used to get food every morning, raining food from heaven. And they had to do is to wake up early in the morning, go pick it. And of course, they were given instructions how to pick it. So it was interesting. And sometimes I want to be in this with these people, and experience the power. And sometimes I want to scream back at them. I'm like, don't do that. Don't complain about that, because I have read to the end of the story and I know what was the consequences. Nevertheless, I still experience that power. One of it is the nugget for this week. And so we are told that as they were traveling through the wilderness, there was a pillar of cloud during the day that would guide them. Of course, in the wilderness, there's this scorching sun, and they had to be sheltered. And at night, they were guided by the pillar of fire. They could give them warmth and light. And light. And so it was that way. And we're told that during their movement in the wilderness, sometimes the cloud could settle. And during that time, they were supposed to set calm and wait. And the cloud could lift and guide them. And they were supposed to break calm and continue moving. Sometimes this cloud could stay overnight, sometimes few days, or sometimes months, or sometimes over a year or more, meaning that these people could not dictate when to move, really. It was beyond their choice to make. Their movement in that wilderness depended on this cloud that was leading them. And no matter how they complained in a specific spot of what they don't have, what they want, they couldn't say like, let's move from here and let's go another place until that cloud dictated to them. So my point is, their movement, when and where to move at a particular time, was beyond their power to do. And something stood out for me. Guys, there are things in our life that are beyond us. You see, we have this desire. And desire is good. Desire motivates us. Desire makes us to work for something. And that is healthy, to have a desire. Desire to have acquired a given status by this particular time. Desire to have done this by this time. And that desire is good. You need to have goals. You can call it goals and they become desires and all that. But when these urges become so possessive and emotionally draining and overwhelming our lives, then they can be fatal to our minds, and they can upset that balance of mind that is supposed to keep us sane through the days and activities. And that is why we have to be stopping and reflecting. Sometimes stop and think what you're thinking about, what you're worried about. And these desires, when we don't achieve them, we get so much worried, we get so much care about them, and we want to try our futile efforts to achieve them. And no matter what, we never get to achieve that. And we end up to a place of despondency, being doubtful and disappointed. And sometimes finally people can give up, and we don't want to be there. And you know what? Worry and caring for things that are beyond you, beyond me and us, is like a fox that is being given birth to and then being fed. Think of foxes. If you leave them in your garden with all the beautiful plants and everything you put there, they can be destructive. They are so annoying. They can mess you up. And worry is a fox. Take a garden to be your life and your productivity. Worry is this fox that eats away from you, drains your energy, and drains, it just takes away from you. And that is why this day, today, this week, we have to let that fox go. We have to chase it out of our lives. Otherwise, we're not going to be productive. We're not going to be better human beings. We're not going to make a difference in the world. We're not going to leave a legacy that is worthy to be emulated by the generations after us. That fox of worrying of things that are beyond us has to go. And someone can say, you know what? If anything I want, I can achieve. That is correct. I agree. But again, let's also learn a bitter fact, truth, that we are human beings and there are many things that we have been limited. Take an example. You have no power to dictate if you're going to wake up tomorrow and continue with your life. But you have time, you have the power to manage the time that you've been given now, presently. I hope you get my point. That is what I mean. There are things that we don't have power on to do them. And if we worry and care about them, they drain us. and they become these destructive foxes in our lives. And you know what? When I learned this story and I related it with this life that I have been, I have decided and I have purpose that when I come aware of what I'm thinking about, if it is beyond me, I ask myself a simple question: can I do it? Yes. Can I do it? No. Why? It's beyond me. I leave it. Can I do it? No. Why? Maybe I need to work harder. It's within my power, but I can work harder. Then I go for it. But if it is beyond me, I leave it that way. And that way, we can keep our mental balance in balance for real. Guys, let me know in the comments below if you guys there you had this fox and how much has it eaten from you. And there are many other foxes that we can have and we can talk about them in the future. How are you going to chase them out? Have you chased them already? How has it been with you? And let's continue to learn. Till then, see you and goodbye.